Three, two, one. What is going on, YouTube? I am your host, the Financial Conspirator, back with another weekend stream. Today we have a very special guest. We have NinjaTea from Blockchain Crypto. Was it Blockchain Crypto? That's the name.
Blockchain Sensei. That's the name of the company.
Blockchain Sensei, and then we've got, you know
Yes,
who it
yeah.
is, EdgeoutTrading.Eth, also known as MJ the God, Rahkim, Rod.Kim, X on social medias, and we're going to give it to you hard, raw, pause. So you guys want to give an introduction. Ninja T, where are you from? Why are you here? We've never seen you before. What's your background?
Yeah, for sure. What's good, people? It's great to be here. This is the first American platform that I believe we've been on YouTube. So my name's Fadlan. You guys can add me on LinkedIn. That's Foxtrot Alpha Delta Lima Alpha November. That's my first name. My surname is Echo Foxtrot Foxtrot Echo November December India. I'm more known as Ninja T. I am a full-time Web3 operator. Been in the space since 2015. Based in London, UK. Grew up in Manchester. I'm originally from Indonesia. That's where my family are from. That's where I was born. But yeah, I've actually never been to the States before. Um, but I intend to. I've been to Canada before. I know Financial Conspirator because I did a video with Ian Dunlap, which you guys should check out, aka the Master Investor. So that's one of Ian Dunlap's less known videos, where we break down just some cool stuff, man. XRP, NFTs, the markets. We did that in 2022, which gained some traction in the kind of earn your leisure ecosystem, getting a lot of recognition there. Earn your leisure. I've been to the UK and I've met some of the guys a few times. So yeah, I run a company called Blockchain Sensei. We're a multi Web3 solutions company. We solve problems in blockchain space, including but not limited to building software, venture capital, educating at universities. I also run our subsidiary Shuriken Sounds, which is focused on positioning artists in kind of like artists on the blockchain, basically. So we've done a few cool NFTs for musicians, such as a big UK rapper called Big Nasty. I don't think people in America would know who he is, but he's pretty big over here. And yeah, I just love the space. Full-time operator. Not really a day trader per se, more of a fundamentals guy. I do swing trade, but I'm just looking to add as much value as possible through collaboration and solving problems in blockchain space. It's pretty much what we do at Blockchain Sensei.
I love it, and that's what we're all about here. Just trying to give as much information to the people for as little as cost as possible. So today what we're going to be going over is the hash rate wars. What is the hash rate? Why does it matter? Which countries or companies will be, leading that frontier? We're going to be talking about gold making a comeback, not the price, but the fungibility. And then we're going to be talking about money versus currency, because that's a very big deal. A lot of people don't even know where money comes from, how it gets printed. They say money doesn't grow on trees. I say, yes, it does. And then we're going to finish up with a little bit of BRICS expansion. That's just something that we're going to be talking about every week because it's not going away anytime soon. There's going to be a lot of reading today, guys, so don't get intimidated by lots of words. It's not difficult. The hash rate wars. The coming Bitcoin hash wars will be the new space race, but who will win? When you and I send Bitcoin to each other, the transaction is bundled together with a bunch of transactions from everyone else in a block and sent to a global network of machines to verify and confirm. These machines basically compete with each other to process those transactions first, and when they do, the winning machines are rewarded with both new Bitcoin and the fees, including in the block they've processed, as a way of being compensated for contributing to the network, because it costs money to plug in that machine and it costs electricity money to have that machine running. These machines are referred to as miners, and the bottom line is the more of them you have, the more power or more hash rate you are able to contribute to the network. To simplify even further, more hash rate equals more Bitcoin. And before people get confused, just because you have a lot of miners does not mean you can change the code. You need 51% of all miners to vote on any change anybody wants implemented. So just because China has 70% of the global hash rate does not mean China can control 70% of Bitcoin's code. The code will be the code forever. That's not going to change. We're just discussing who is able to mine more Bitcoin faster. So when Bitcoin's real value as a true international asset and a store of value is recognized at a governmental level, the game will change again. At that point, the race for Bitcoin hash rate supremacy really begins. There is no way that any country will want to be left behind once this happens. It would be akin to not stockpiling on gold and letting competing economies do it instead. Further, those countries under sanctions, Cuba, Russia, China, Venezuela, or with developing economies have greater incentive to get involved sooner, since the playing field is leveled to an extent that is simply not possible with any other global asset. And we've talked about this for weeks about how Bitcoin is not going to be used where in the more developed nations. Bitcoin will be used the most in places that it's needed the most. Places where people don't have a stable currency, they're going to be looking at Bitcoin crypto. Governments will scramble to authorize state-sponsored operations, even directing funds and development away from existing projects where necessary. We already see this happening with companies like Tesla. There are tax incentives, tax breaks for implementing solar panels, for having electric vehicles. Can you imagine where Bitcoin mining will be when companies are given incentives, tax breaks for mining Bitcoin using renewable energy? And speaking of sanctions, 100,000 Cubans are using Bitcoin in response to the U.S.'s sanctions, and Russia could use cryptocurrencies to blunt the force of U.S. sanctions. So, NinjaTea, I'll start with you on this one. With
Mm-hmm.
with the sanctions that the U.S. is putting on the entire world, I mean, from Russia to Cuba to South America to Africa, do you think more countries, or when do you think more countries will start to use Bitcoin as a safe haven or a response?
In my opinion, I believe more countries will start adopting Bitcoin as more countries get governments that are educated in Bitcoin. I honestly believe that the misuse case of Bitcoin or underuse case of Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies in this world is literally because most most governments don't see the value, and or we obviously know that governments are obviously puppets from the puppet masters. The puppet masters of these governments don't want um don't want people to don't don't want these countries to have certain powers. Sorry, my co-founder was just sending me some quick information here. Also, the hash rate leaders are the Bitcoin hash rate leaders used to be China, which is now America, of which Core Scientific was the leader. In fact, Core Scientific mined more Bitcoins in the first half of 2022 than any other listed digital asset miner, which is pretty crazy. Just got some little info from my community that are tapped in right now. But yeah, that's my opinion. It's a mix of, in my opinion, of governments at mass not understanding Bitcoin, not understanding cryptocurrency, that and or the puppet masters of these nations not giving them the information or controlling the narrative of who holds the Bitcoin hash rate. So is that it's really interesting because the dollar's falling, but the USA is the biggest Bitcoin miner.
Mm,
So
for
that's a bit of
now,
a part. For now, yeah.
for now, MJ, Kim, you got any thoughts on that? Or we can move on.
No, I mean y'all pretty much covered it. That's a pretty good explanation. I would add China, Russia, those guys are still pretty important in the Bitcoin mining. They did do the band in China, but they're still mining abroad. A lot of those Chinese operations moved west. A lot of those companies moved west and set up operations in Canada, in the UK, and in the United States as well. So just be mindful. It's and also regular individuals can take their hand at mining Bitcoin as well. So just remember that.
Yep. For now, wait till companies start getting tax incentives to mine Bitcoin. I mean, at that point,
Carbon
do you really
credits.
think mining on your computer is going to be enough? Like the days where people one computer equals one vote is very, very far behind us. I think if you aren't in the Bitcoin mining space now, you should be looking into it closely, because when a government agency like China decides to unban mining, China is third in the world and they have it banned. It's illegal, and people are still mining it to the point where they are the third largest Bitcoin miner in the world, and it's illegal to do so. So, with that being said, if you don't think one day China will unban it, which they have, I think, 4 or 5 times since 2014 or something, it's going to happen. It is inevitable. China will unban Bitcoin. Most countries on the world, if they want to be developed or ahead of the game, will start to mine Bitcoin, and it's a matter of when, not if. Rahkim, were you trying to say something?
No, I agree with everything they just said. Like, they hit it right on the head. And one thing to factor in as well is just keeping in mind that like these blockchain networks are literally like outside of the realm or system of like this current financial system. You know what I'm saying? Like, these are whole networks that aren't tied into this one. You know what I'm saying? You may see the Bitcoin ATMs and stuff like that, but once you put your money into that network, it's like disconnected from this I guess economy, if you will, or network of payments and money and stuff like that. So this literally is like avoiding sanctions going into something like a Bitcoin network system. So yeah, man.
Yeah, I think it's dangerous times. Private operations will either be acquired or put to work on behalf of the state with a suitable arrangement in place. National hash rate will be a matter of pride and a measure of economic success, listed on the economic websites next to gold reserves. And just like that, the title at the beginning of the article suggests the coming hash rate wars will be likely similar to the space race all those decades ago, the point beautifully made by Max Kaiser in June of 2020. So they are comparing Bitcoin mining to the space race.
You should read that first. You should read that first paragraph again, just make sure everybody got that.
Private operations will either be acquired or put to work on behalf of the state. So that means the state itself will be employing private corporations to mine Bitcoin on their behalf.
And this was in summer 2020.
I thought this was rat poison, guys. I thought we were dealing with a criminal's currency, a national hash rate. This is something that we could see happening in the next 3 to 5 years. I remember, that's such a long time. That's enough time for you to get your ass a full Bitcoin, people, because this is something that if nation states are trying to hoard it, what do you think is going to happen when all 21 million or 17 million, because we've already lost 4 or 5 million coins, they will not make more. Okay, people, this is something that is completely finite. They will dig up more gold. They will melt metals. They will never create more Bitcoin. They can develop more real estate. They can issue more stock. They can never create more Bitcoin, people. This is a point. This is not priced in. This is something that Warren Buffett, like the greatest investor of all time, cannot get through his thick skull, or refuses to, for monetary reasons. Now, talking about
I don't buy into that. I believe Buffett does understand Bitcoin, because remember, the markets are controlled by the puppet masters, and often people will say one thing and then do something behind the scenes, because Warren Buffett is invested in companies that do Bitcoin mining or have Bitcoin in their balance sheet.
Oh yeah, he's got banks. He's
or
got banks.
Bitcoin banks. Yeah, the Bitcoin banks
Exactly.
in Brazil.
Nope.
He just doesn't want you to buy it.
Exactly.
Exactly.
And
think about the state. The state is predicting Bitcoin mining being so profitable. They want to be a part of that. and the price of Bitcoin going to such a high level. They want to be a part of that. On like they want you to mine for them and have them looking good. You know what I'm saying?
There we go. Now, just a quick recap on that China ban hash rate thing. In 2019, can we see how large this mainland China hash rate is? And then from 2021, in around May, the ban came into place and it just dropped off a cliff. But if you look at September 2021 through the last quarter of 2022, it's coming back up. I mean, the U.S. has took a very large share of the hash rate, but China is still coming back, despite the ban. The people of China want to mine Bitcoin. They know that a digital yuan or a CBDC, a hellscape currency, that is not what they want to be involved with. The people of China, the people of the free world, I would say, want free money. They want real currency. They don't want a fiat, which is just based off political decree and no intrinsic value, which we'll get into later, the difference between money and currency, because that is freaking huge. Talking about money and currency, the United States, 23 U.S. states are moving to reclaim gold and silver as legal tender, and Arkansas passed the Legal Tender Act, removing taxes on gold and silver. So do you guys think that this is a sort of warning to the American citizens that maybe the dollar will not be the only form of money or the main form of money? It might not be tomorrow, it might not be the day after that, it might not be next year, but someday we may not be using the dollar to transact in stores. Is that
Yeah, I think it's positioning. I think it's America, because I'm trying to put myself in America's shoes. So imagine, okay, I am a country that is the most influential in the world, has the biggest army, has the most debt, but the debt is owed in my currency, and I keep making more of my currency, and everybody uses it anyway. And then one day, everyone's going to be fed up and be like, man, fuck all this. So what America's doing by potentially opening itself up to take silver and gold as legal tender is they're basically saying, look, well, America cannot force the world to use its currency, but America can definitely protect itself from invasion, right? America cannot stop other currencies from America cannot go to war with other countries because other countries want to stop using the currency. That's not going to fly in this world. You can't start invading countries because as in you can, but
I would just say that America has invaded for less.
Yeah, no, of course you can, but in this modern world, it's less and less profitable to do so, because America doesn't need more enemies right now, right? So what America is doing is basically saying, look, if the currency does fail, gold and silver is God's money, and money's going to flow in there anyway. So it's just preparing. It's just kind of like a safety net and preparation for the dollar to fail in the future if it does.
So my question would be, I'm really curious to see like what the sentiment is on the dollar, on like in your area, Ninja. You know what I'm saying? Like in Europe, in London, in those markets, like what is the true sentiment of the dollar? Like I see the euro's been surging. There was a moment where it depegged a little bit, but I see the euro's been surging here lately.
So
Go ahead.
Yeah, with regards to sentiment. So again, I've been in the markets for 8 years. I'm 27 years old, turning 28. I first entered the markets at 19, 20 years old. Started off with Bitcoin. Also did a lot of Forex. I understand tech stocks a lot. Also for context, we had an office in Canary Wharf for 1 year, which is basically the Wall Street of London. So I'm highly connected with asset management, people in asset management, people at JP Morgan who work at HSBC Bank, etc. The only general financial sentiment the UK has at mass of the dollar is merely the price of assets. Like most high level financial people in the UK will measure things in dollars. With regards to Europe, I don't believe Europe thinks about dollars too much besides maybe price. I know forex traders use like dollars, basically the Bitcoin of forex, when it comes to following the market. I do believe the UK should have switched to euros, but the way I see it is the dollar's falling, the pound is falling, but the euro is maintaining because Europe is still a reasonable economy. If you think of Europe is not a country, but it's almost like a country. And the way I see it is Europe. There's no competition between USA and UK, but there's competition between Europe, which is basically France, Spain, Germany, Switzerland, all using euros. Obviously, Switzerland uses Swiss francs, but there's a lot of euros that are transacted within Switzerland, and there's extremely high liquidity as well and demand for euros. Where GBP, I don't see the pound sterling ever bouncing back to where it was if you check like the charts against dollars. So I don't think Europe in mass cares too much about dollars because Europe is not completely self-sufficient ecosystem, but a very, very tight ecosystem of different countries coming together. Yeah, that's what I see.
One thing I want to point out. One thing I want to point out on the terms of like these states making gold and silver legal tender. I think in some form we'll see like some form of digital tokenization of the assets and stuff like that. Because there's like in this day and age, you can move like a lot of weight. You know what I'm saying? But like if we're being honest, like it would have to be some form of tokenization of these like assets and like broadcast it on some type of digital network. Because it's like there's no way that many transactions are about to go down in the digital
how the hell are you gonna buy a house with gold?
Yeah, exactly. Like you could, but you could like that's too much, bro. Like you're gonna have to have it stored somewhere in some place, and like maybe
first of all,
they have a digital representation of
that. Exactly, because the weight of the fucking gold, the security of transporting the gold, and then the indivisibility. You can't break gold down unless you have a goddamn like a welding machine.
Exactly,
you have to literally weld and melt your gold down.
You need a smelter.
That's it.
Or unless you got
that's it.
A laser
and
metal cutter.
NinjaTea, you mentioned the military. I mean, that's what you're gonna need for $200,000 in gold for a house. How are you gonna put down a deposit on a house in gold? How much gold is that? But NinjaTea, you mentioned the military and how the U.S. isn't going to be able to invade countries just because they're not using the dollar. I will argue that's what they've been doing since the beginning of time. But now, since the internet, the internet is like the blood force of communication throughout the world. We can now see. Before in the 1980s or
no. 70s, like America invaded countries. Invaded it was England that obviously the British Empire that invaded countries, and then brief history. England invaded a lot of the world, and then England took a lot of the world's resources, and then it was England who and other nations that implemented the gold standard. So how convenient for somebody to steal your resources and then say money's based on resources, but then the people who have the most resources are obviously countries like US and America, which is why pound sterling had so much value for a very, very, very long time. Like it's only recently fell, like in the past 10, 20 years. Like remember, £1 used to be $2. Britain's empire has fell very, very sharp. But America has never in history invaded countries at mass because these countries have started to not use the US dollar. That is new precedented territory. I don't think anyone can say, well, this is an example in history where America, the USA, invaded a country because of stop using the dollar.
I think the term, let's rephrase, let's say, let's say the IMF, the International Monetary Fund, and the central banks, I think we're kind of getting too hammered down on the dollar, because at the end of the day, the central banks are that's who's controlling everybody's currency. So
Mhm.
it's not necessarily like the U.S. And a lot of times these wars are started by proxy nations, by all of these CIA infiltrations of other situations that they going in to destabilize governments just so they can. It's actual a thing that they practice, economic hitmen. You know what I'm saying? So I
Yeah.
think saying the U.S. dollar or the U.S. doesn't do it, maybe not indirectly, but definitely it happens. If not by proxy, it happens indirectly via the banking cartels. You know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah,
it just doesn't. It's just not like
Yeah,
with a
look at
USA
Libya.
flag on it. You know what I mean?
I
yeah.
mean, look at Libya. Libya
You gotta
decided
ask
that they were
yourself like,
going to
who?
create an all African currency. What happened? He was hung
Yeah,
on YouTube Live, bro. Like that. That the military of the United States is what I think is the only thing that has kept the dollar alive for this long. If you have a brain and you have common sense, you can realize that printing money out of thin air and lending that out to people and having them pay you back more money than you printed is not a sustainable system. It's not a sustainable system at all. If the U.S. Military predominance, no other government has ever had anything remotely this sort of capability. In fact, a case could be well made that this is the very power that holds the entire world monetary system organized around the dollar. The U.S. has 800 military bases outside of the U.S.
Mhm.
800 military bases. So if any of those countries were to decide, hey, let's not use the dollar anymore, we've got 800 bases. You're telling me we can't get an assault or some type of like MJ said, the economic hitman, some type of indirect proxy will say there's some type of overthrowing of a government that some terrorists did, or were those terrorists
Or
funded
and
pay,
and,
by
yeah.
the
and then
IMF or Klaus Schwab?
and then going
Is there
back
an
to what
inside
MJ
job?
said, like the banking cartels, bro. Like, who is the U.S. government in debt to? They're in debt to central banks. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, also when you're looking at the petrodollar, like they weaponized the petrodollar for so long. One, tying the dollar to oil, and then going amongst all of these Middle Eastern countries, and then taking the oil. So now you have the resources backing your own currency. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, in a way, they have invaded. You know what I'm saying? Like, to prop up their own strength of the U.S. dollar, many different countries, and to prevent, like a financial conspirator said, what was the name of it? The United African something that he was going to call it, where all of the African countries are going to come together and back this one
Mm-hmm.
currency by gold. I forgot the name
Yep,
of it, but
I forgot
you
the
see
name
what
too.
happened with Muammar Gaddafi,
It was
man.
the Sur, the SUR. Not completely sure.
Yeah, I do
No,
think I
just
do
one
think I do
little
think we'll
tiny
see
minute
some
of a point.
like it'll be like a different type of warfare that we'll see. Not the traditional warfare that we've seen in the past. I think NinjaTea is correct. Like I don't think it's gonna be like an in your face, World War II, World War I, or Cold War type of situation where we have that like open conflict. I do think it's gonna be something a little less subtle, like I said, an information war. It could be economic war. It could be a digital war. Like WWW World War III could take place completely on the web. You know what I'm saying? Like
Mhm.
it could be a war where we're talking about energy sectors and compromising people's energy grids and their access to financial assets and things like that. I think that's the type of war that we're going to go into. I don't think it's going to be a traditional dropping bombs and sending thousands of troops to XYZ or invading places. I think we're going to be able to have those capacities to do that digitally, and I think they're going to do that
Yeah, why would I invade your
using the
country?
currency.
Yeah, why would I invade your country and risk dying when I can just turn your money off? What?
It's like
Hello?
China. It's like,
No, but
why
did you
would
see
I invade
MJ's
your
point?
country when I can just put TikTok
Exactly.
in front of your kids' faces and create a
That's
degenerate
exactly.
nation
There we go. There we
of
go.
Z's
No,
and
but you're right. Great
Days,
point.
Z's and Days.
England. The saying was, "The sun never sets on the English Empire." Well, how long did that last? And now, the United States is England. We have 800 military bases. The sun does not set on the United States' reign, but it will. It will, and it is inevitable. Fiat currency, the failure rate of fiat currency is 100%. And let's get into that. For this to load up, it's a short 1-minute clip, folks.
End of the road. No fiat currency has prevailed.
She's making us wait. She's making
100% failure rate. There is no currencies. And then 40 years ago, we tried this grand experiment where all the world's currencies became fiat when we ended.
The world is going to have to extricate itself. Some, if you want to see, you have to back it with something. You can't back it with that old Superman movie where the first one where Lois Lane, she falls off the building, and Superman catches her, and he says, "I got you. Don't worry, I got you." And she says, "Well, you do." Well, that's the dollar. Who's got the dollar? It's not. The dollar can't fly on its own. It was gold that had the dollar. It's like everybody they're to the Titanic of currencies, and so we're all down.
We're all gonna go down, folks. Just a matter of time. Opt out now. Buy Bitcoin. Any thoughts on that?
And precious metals as well. You know what I'm saying? You got to be in everything that's separated from. You got to be in everything that's separated from dependency.
There is a proven.
And don't sleep on silver either.
Nope. Absolutely not. Absolutely not. And when we talk about all those countries being tied to the Titanic, why wouldn't I just cut my damn rope and go tie myself to a boat that's not sinking? 24 nations align against the US dollar as BRICS looks to launch a new global currency. According to the Russia state-owned news agency Sputnik, BRICS is in the early stages of developing a new global currency that would circumvent the US dollar. The group of newcomers include Saudi Arabia, Iran, Argentina, the United Arab Emirates, Algeria, Egypt, Bahrain, Indonesia, 2 unnamed nations from East Africa, and 1 from West
makes
Africa.
Sense. Indonesia
right?
makes so much sense.
And this is, we're talking about
Okay,
24 nations talking about joining BRICS. We had 44 nations meet with El Salvador to discuss adopting Bitcoin as legal tender. 44 nations and 24 nations that are looking to join BRICS. Is this fear mongering? Is this something to be worried about? And when will Americans give a fuck? When will Americans say, what is going on? Because right now, even as I post this type of, I'm getting content or comments like, this is fear mongering. The U.S. has always been on top. Nobody can beat us. Am I fear mongering, or is this a viable concern? Someone please, anyone.
You are not fear mongering. Like, this is it. When you look at it, you got all of these nations around the world coming up and rising against the biggest nation, the biggest bully in the world. Like, who in history dropped nuclear bombs on any other nation? The United States was the first to ever do it. So then everybody looked like, oh snap, like, yo.
And the only person, the only country to do that. Nobody's done that.
And the only country. exactly destroyed generations of families. So now you got like one thing that Americans don't understand is other countries don't think like us. People don't think like us outside of this country. Like you think these countries forgot like all of the stuff that they've done to these countries, like Iran. You think Iran is forgetting about anything the United States has done to them? So no, I don't think it's fear mongering. I just think it's facing the reality that other nations are rising up, and this nation is falling. You know what I'm saying? But that gives us an opportunity that we know. You know what I'm saying? And get in positions where we can get out the way of the fall. You know what I'm saying? It's like a piano falling out the window, and you got the opportunity to move, but you fear mongering. It's not a piano. You know what I'm saying? Like it's not a piano falling out the window.
Yo, it's ridiculous. I mean, ignorance truly is bliss. NinjaTea, were you gonna say something?
Yeah, can I just share my screen for a quick sec?
Go
You guys
ahead,
have
brother.
it?
I can. Let
Okay,
me
so
stop my screen.
you guys can see my screen?
Let me add it to the stream. Yes.
Yes.
All right, sweet. So you see most of the world looks at gold on this chart, right? They look at the American, they look at gold against US dollars. So a lot of people think, okay, well, the price of gold in US dollars is literally pretty much the same price for 13 years, and for 5 years it dipped down, right? That's the general consensus. Let me open you guys' minds up. View gold in a different currency. View gold in Indonesian rupee. Since 2011 in Indonesia, you didn't break even in Indonesia. No, you got a 130% gain. View gold in Turkish lira. In Turkey, well, in Turkey
Who has
in
mass amount of inflation?
2011, look at this. You've had 12x. In Turkey, you've had 12x. In America, you've broke even. In America, the journey since 2011 is from here to here. Why? Because the dollar has reigned supreme in that time. But time change. Almost nobody looks at dollars in everyone else's currency. Everyone in this world is basically living in their own, because most people view the markets in their own currency, as well as the American currency. But yeah, as you can see, it's pretty different. It's pretty different, right? You could have.
No, that's a really good point there. And you're absolutely right, man. That's a big reason why I kind of got out of the U.S. Because we kind of get tunnel vision a little bit, and that's actually how a lot of people do view the market. They view it from wherever they are. And there's a lot of gaps. There's a lot of holes. There's a lot of money to be made in looking at those international markets. Like you said, Ian says that all the time. Make sure you keep an eyes on, all the emerging markets, all of the international markets, so you can stay ahead of the game. Absolutely right. Good shit, man. I love it.
Yep. And we talked about, or someone made a comment about how BlackRock is connecting with Coinbase. Well, Google did announce their partnership with Solana. These major corporations, they know the dollar is fucking coming to an end. These corporations aren't stupid. There's a reason BlackRock is investing in Coinbase. There's a reason Google is investing in Solana. There's a reason XRP is getting so many banks. They are aware. They are well aware of the wane of the US dollar. Well aware. It's just Americans who are enjoying the cream of the crop.
Who are blinded.
Blinded by the light, baby.
People lose confidence in the currency.
There is no nation on this planet that currently uses money. We all use currency. There will come a day when everybody knows the difference.
Money is a medium of exchange, and the way it has evolved is that it's always something of intrinsic value until the modern age. When the politicians say, well, we don't need anything of intrinsic value anymore. All we need is political decree. We can say this is money. This piece of paper is money. Now money has a new characteristic. But underneath it all, there's this same concept in place that nobody ever seems to challenge. And that is that governments have a right to declare something of no value to be money, and you must accept it. That's really the problem, and it's still the problem today. It's destroying the economies of the world.
With
When you hear something like that, does it make sense, people, when they say Nayib Bukele is a dictator? Nayib Bukele is a dictator's regime. El Salvador is never going to repay its debt. El Salvador this, El Salvador that. They're going to default. Oh, he's a dictator and he's locking all these people up. The people hate him. Meanwhile, he has a 96% approval rating. His country just paid back the IMF an $800 million debt. They just paid that off using Bitcoin profits. So does it make sense why these people don't want you to be looking into Bitcoin, gold, silver? They want you to be on their drug money. They print it out. They give you a little bit. You get your fix and you come right back scratching your neck. I need a little bit more money. I need more dollars. I need more dollars. Not enough dollars. There will never be enough dollars. If there was no debt in the monetary system, there wouldn't be money. The system is based on the fact that not everyone will be able to make it. And it doesn't have to be that way. It does not have to be that way. Any comments on money versus currency, why it matters, folks?
Yeah, the key being the word intrinsic value. Intrinsic value means that it has value outside of the current price. And all money is right now is it's not money because it has no intrinsic value. The price is just based off the value is based only on price. The value is not based on anything intrinsic, which is a value that cannot, which means a value that cannot be measured by price. And the reason why it's currency is because it's literally current. It's just for the here and now. It's not for the future. It's just a wave. Like there's a current in the ocean. It's just current. It's now. It's here today and gone tomorrow. Literally.
Yeah, people think the words and the spelling doesn't have anything to do with it. 100%. Currency. There's a admiralty law, man. We can get into all that shit. There is a reason it's called currency, right? There's a reason. The ship has sailed. It's all little programming, little language inflections to get you thinking this and that. MJ.
No, I was just gonna say, well said, but he's absolutely right. It is just current. The only thing that gives it its value is our acquiescence, literally. And if without that acquiescence, or say we decide to give something else value, like I don't know, Bitcoin, that would give the regular mass population a sort of authority, a sort of power that the mass population currently does not have, right? They don't have the authority to say, this is what we want to do commerce in. We don't want to do commerce in this. And I think that's really the apex of what we're approaching. We're approaching a showdown with central banks and central governments to decide which money we're going to use in the future. I think that's what everything is moving towards. It's going to end up with, we want to use this money, you want us to use this money, we don't want to do this, and you already have all of these resources, so we're going to do commerce this way. I think that's ultimately what we're moving towards. It's a big showdown.
Yeah, Nigeria, 2.5% usage rating on their CBDC. People refuse to use it. You can implement all the laws you want. If people don't want it, they won't use it. If it's not for them, if it's not advantageous for them, they will find a way around it. Okay, people aren't dumb, or they aren't as dumb as the IMF or the World Economic Forum thinks they are. It will get to the point where, hey, we're getting beat over the head with this US dollar stuff. How about we just stop using it? All right.
Yeah, I think also.
How many?
Oh, go ahead.
No, how many years did they not have like an option? I mean, this is, I think, one of the first times in history of humanity where people have had an option to opt out of the organized religion, I would say, of the monetary system, because it is a religion. The only reason the dollar has value is because we all believe in it. It's a faith-based religion, in my opinion. You were going to say?
You know what it is? It's not just people have people have the opportunity to literally build a mini ecosystem inside the United States of America, but seldom use the actual dollar, because in their ecosystem, you don't have to use Bitcoin. You can just use any currency, even another fiat currency like Kuwaiti dinar or Singaporean dollars. If everyone within that community just accept, if 1,000 people in America in one neighborhood decided in this community we accept Kuwaiti dinar, then that's the way it is.
Yep.
It's just collective consciousness.
Yeah, you said you made a great point. I just remembered that if you look at Bitcoin denominated in the Naira, Bitcoin's making new all-time highs. If you look at Bitcoin in any country where they're facing severe inflation, I mean, I can only imagine what the price of Bitcoin is in Argentina. If the dollar in Argentina is inflating at 90-something%, what do you think Bitcoin is appreciating at in that location?
Bro,
it's just
big up to the Bitcoin traders that are fucking printing in a bear market because their currency is falling. So like, oh, well, my currency is falling, so I'm just gonna 10x my own currency through Bitcoin as a vehicle to go get the fee. To go get more.
That's another thing. That's another thing that people don't even realize as a utility, which you could do because your currency is falling. I was actually reading something on Argentina, and they were given like a dilemma. The IMF said, okay, um, you pay the debt back. We'll give you the bailout. Or I think it was like 800 billion or something crazy, right? We'll give you the bailout, but you have to take an anti-cryptocurrency stance, right? Which would have done what? Exactly what NinjaTea said. If some of those smarter traders in Argentina, they could have leveraged themselves and aligned with Bitcoin, ran up some scoreboard. Yeah, your dollars, your peso, whatever is failing, but at the same time, you could 5-10x the amount of pesos that you have in your own currency just by riding up the wave on Bitcoin. Now, what does that do? Eventually, what happened with Argentina is Argentina turned to the BRICS. The IMF gave them alternative, right? IMF said, okay, we'll bail you out and fix your economy, but you have to take a anti-cryptocurrency stance. And what did they do? They went to the BRICS, right? They said, okay, well, we'll just go to the BRICS, right? Right? Like we'll apply for the BRICS and we'll see what their offer looks like. So ultimately, that's what we're going down to. We're getting down to like a standoff, and who's going to be the last one standing? I don't think anybody knows, man. I think it's going to be good for us. I think it's going to be good for the people as long as we kind of, like you said, stand and be united. At any point in time, right now, via cryptocurrency, we can literally accept any type of fiat currency that we want. We can open up communities and do all those things, just like NinjaTea says. Absolutely true.
You can even use like the Euro stablecoin. They've got a Euro stablecoin now.
Yeah.
Like obviously, no stablecoin is really that stable because obviously there's been stablecoins that have failed. But I'm just saying, like, just for the thing is that I don't feel any type of way. Like, first of all, I love Bitcoin. And if I was to put everything in one crypto, it would be Bitcoin. But I don't feel any type of like, depending on whoever's watching this in the future, your skill set. Me personally, I have a high level of skill set when it comes to trading and markets. So I remember I told this to Financial Conspirator. He thought I was crazy, but I exited the market on the 25th of October, and I had no crypto till April 2022. Like I performed. I X'd my wealth more than most of the world in that time because I don't need to own crypto every second. Like, but this is not saying that people shouldn't have the long-term bag and the ledger thing. I'm just saying I play a different game because I've been in the markets for so long. I understand. I have no problem having no crypto, loads of cash, all in crypto, no cash, liquidate stocks, gold, or whatever. So it just depends on what level of operation you want to play in this game. Generally speaking, it's better to have a long-term portfolio that you don't touch, and that and dollar cost averaging works for most people in this world. I don't dollar cost average at all. I have what I do is I like to have a large amount of fiat, and then I buy in the market crashes, and then when the market spikes up, I sell, and then I buy back in the dip. But that's not conclusive to most people's lifestyles.
It's very Warren Buffett of you.
Yeah. yeah. I'm not team diamond handle hodl. People say one bit, and I said it's a financial conspirator. I don't accept the argument one Bitcoin is one Bitcoin. No, I'd rather have 3 Bitcoin. Like I would rather sell at the top and then buy at 70% drawdown, rather than hold for the Bitcoin to crash. But that
wouldn't we all?
Yeah, but that only works in like this time period of human history, because like I may change that philosophy in 2030 and be like, no, really, let's not sell at the top because it might be hard to
man.
Yeah.
Exactly. Because the US dollar is losing value every year. You have to think the US dollar is down 99% since its inception. So
That's crazy.
the Bitcoin is taking the liquidity from the US dollar, from fiat shitcoin currencies, and it's putting it into something that is real. I mean, it's not physical, but it's real. No one can devalue your Bitcoin. Your money is divisible by 21 million, not infinity. So the US dollar, in my opinion, the price target of the US dollar is 0. And the price target of Bitcoin, which is the inverse of that, is infinity. You can't give Bitcoin a price target. I can't give Bitcoin a price target because they can print an infinite amount of dollars. So they can devalue the dollar infinitely. That means
it's not just an infinite amount of dollars. It's an infinite amount of any fiat currency, including BRICS. Like this is why I'm so excited for BRICS, because then it brings a whole new rush of fiat. Like it's a whole new opportunity for prices to rise.
Yeah,
because it's a whole new liquidity pool.
And see, this is like the what I was going to say about like the money versus currency. So I think the difference between money versus currency is like energy exerted to get it. Like we know currency, the fiat currencies that we have now, like they're just printed out in thin air with no effort. But we got gold, silver, Bitcoin that need to be mined, one either out of the ground or out of the, you know what I'm saying, using your electricity to bring it up into a network. And I think that's the big difference that a lot of people don't look at is energy exerted. Like it takes no effort for currency, but it takes effort for money, real money, valuable, tangible money. Or
so that sounds like you're explaining a proof of work system.
Exactly. Gold is the original. Gold and silver is the original proof of work. But then you got Bitcoin, which is proof of work, and then we're talking about the hash rate and stuff like that. Like it takes actual energy. Like this isn't just something fake just happening. Like people are literally connecting their miners to plugging it into their wall and exerting and taking up a whole lot of electricity to bring out Bitcoin. You know what I'm saying?
Bitcoin is backed by math and electricity. The US dollar is backed by guns, blood, violence, torture, stealing, rape. Come on, guys. What are we talking about here? This is not even a comparison.
Genocide, blackmail, extortion.
Dude,
we can go down the list.
Slavery,
come on, people.
Bondage.
We're talking about but Bitcoin is the criminal currency, guys. Bitcoin is what's rat for.
Taxes, bro. Like what? Like taxes are so illegal. But anyway, that's another conversation, man.
Like, man, we have a whole fucking topic on taxes, income taxes. But people,
you're taxing me on an asset that's literally declining in value, but the interest rates are going up, so I have to pay more for Anyway, let's continue.
You guys know about the website usdebtclock.org, right?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yes, sir.
Don't remind me. Please don't remind me.
Top 5 website.
Yeah, I look at it occasionally.
How much is the debt per person?
I think it's like 80 trillion, something like that right now. Where
per
we at?
fucking,
Something
what
crazy
is it
here.
per
Let me see.
person? I mean, it tells you how
No, yeah,
many
per person is like a quarter of a million. Every U.S. tax citizen is approximately a quarter of a million in debt already.
Woo.
Born when you're
Let's
born.
go.
Okay, that's from birth, people. Oh, this is the greatest economic system the world has ever seen.
Well,
Yeah.
if you want to know what your
Bitcoin, so
dollar
hold
is
my beer.
backed by, that's what your dollar is backed by. It's backed by the sweat equity of the tax-paying Americans. And that number is, and that's literally what we're trading most of the time. We're trading those bonds that are promissory notes, promises to pay on somebody's sweat equity over the life of their contract, or the life of their life, right? Over the
Exactly.
life of their
Yep.
life. How much money are you going to make over the span of your life, and how much of that is going to taxes? How much are you going to generate, and so forth, so on. It's a dark rabbit hole, but that's how it works, man. And if you
Until
think the
people lose confidence.
CBDCs or anything like that is going to be any different, I would buy some Bitcoin.
Think again. Yeah, man. And this has been awesome, guys. You guys have any final comments, questions, or concerns? Let me know. But I think this has been great. I hope people.
Great show. A lot of this was really good info. I even learned some stuff about international markets today, so I'm totally with it, man. I appreciate you being
Absolutely.
on the show, NinjaTea, for sure.
No worries. I wanna come back.
See, that was the gem you dropped about the international markets and the percentage gains of the assets between those two. Oh my God, that just goes to show we live in a false reality here in the United States of America.
Yeah, we're so sheltered. It's insane.
Do you guys know what cricket is?
Cricket,
The sport,
game?
yeah.
the sport.
Yeah. The sport that's
Yeah.
a little bit like baseball, but with a different bat.
Yeah.
I don't know much about it, but yeah, it does look like baseball.
Yeah. Now, remember, China is the most populous. So, like, out of 8 billion people in the world, right? Out of 8 billion people in the world, like 1.3 billion are in China, and 1.1 billion is in India. So, India and China together is
3
like
billion.
Half the world.
Yeah.
no, I mean it's not half. It's over 1/4, and then America's like what 350 million. It's not that much.
Yeah, about 350, maybe 400 million if you want to include all of the illegals, perhaps. Yeah, about 300 and 450 million. It's a very, but at the same time, those giant producers, which would be China and India, who does most of the consuming? That 350 million does more consuming than that 3 billion, or that 3 billion number. So as long as we're there to trade with them, I don't think that the dollar is really going anywhere, but not a bad point.
I'm gonna share something. I am a I am pro Bitcoin, and I wouldn't say I'm a Bitcoin maximalist, but I would definitely say I stray I stray more towards Bitcoin maximalism than like Bitcoin being taken over by other cryptos. However, my strategy so I'm obsessed with an abundant blue chip asset portfolio. So that's real estate, gold, silver, Bitcoin, and right now with the current state of the world, like Apple, Microsoft stock. However, my approach to accumulation is I'm just sharing this with everyone. This is not financial advice, blah, blah, blah. Address your own situation. For the record, I don't have children. I don't own any real estate. I don't even own a fucking car, right? Because I live in London, so I don't need a car.
Yeah, we're
so
not trying to get sued out here.
Yeah. So my expenses are quite low. My bear market strategy is I'm sniping gems in the market, like undervalued gems, and I see Bitcoin as the real cash out. So I'm actually buying almost no Bitcoin, maybe like 10-20% in terms of like when I convert fiat currency into crypto, I don't convert a lot of fiat into Bitcoin. The reason being is because in the bear market, there's more gains to be made in alts, but I'm strategically deciding when I'm going to sell those alts, and when I sell those alts, I'm not even going to sell them into Bitcoin. I'm going to sell them into fiat, and then I'm going to buy Bitcoin in the next bear market. That's like that. That's how I see the market. This strategy will not work for most people, right? Which is why I don't want most people to adopt it. I'm speaking to people who can think higher level and have more discipline, because most people will not go from $1,000 in Cardano to 10K, keep that 10K until Bitcoin crashes again in the next bear market and buy it back. Most people will spend the money. So that's my way of doing it. Have a think about that. Even because I think sometimes, like, I feel like there's a huge wealth opportunity being missed by people who understand blue chips and understand the asset goals and are constantly deploying all their fiat in these blue chips. It's not a bad strategy, but my strategy, if you can do it, you'll win higher. And it just depends on what your risk or appetite is. But yeah, I've already kind of explained the kind of person I am. I'm the kind of person that I'm the kind of person that is pro blockchain, pro Web3, and had no crypto between November 2021 till April 2025. Sorry, November 2021 till April 2022. Yeah, I had no crypto for like 5 months because I just wanted things cheaper. But it may not work for everyone, but do consider that in a world where crypto consensus tells you to diamond hand everything and put everything on the ledger.
Bro, you trading like a market maker, bro. Like that's not it's not a bad thing. Everybody's not there, right? But you know, for what I understand is you're hunting for liquidity and you want to get into the best possible position, and then you want to cash out, not getting attached to it, bro. That's what market makers do. They're trying to position themselves like, yeah, why would you hold on to it when you could sell it at 70,000 and buy it back at, you know, a quarter of the fraction of the cost at 18,000 when it dips down on the bear market. Not a bad strategy at all. Like I said, not a lot of people can do that. Everybody kind of has their own philosophy with crypto, but like I agree very much with your stance on just building income generating assets. I think that's what I like to call them. Income generating assets is key. Dividend stocks, portfolios, real estate, gold, silver, stuff like that. You know what I mean? And Bitcoin or anything you can mine is even in the DeFi space. You can get some income generating assets in the DeFi space as well.
Yeah, especially with liquidity pools. Yeah, I like liquidity pools in DeFi for sure.
NinjaTea, what are your top 3 coins that you're looking at right now? Spot.
So again, like most altcoins are bullshit. Most altcoins are just leveraged Bitcoin. You should literally buy altcoins to get Bitcoin in the future. I'm gonna say it again. So I'm not just like super, because I feel like a lot of crypto people are just not loyal, and then they say like 20 different chains. So I'm talking about coins which I believe are undervalued right now, are going to do well, and I will dump these coins to buy Bitcoin, right? So what I'm looking at right now is I really like Engine Coin, ENJ. It's a top 100. The reason why I like it is because it has stood the test of time. One of the co-founders, something Vitek Radomski, he's like the chief technical officer, has been the co-founder for like 9 years. He kind of co-wrote the NFT code. I said this with my conversation with Ian Dunlap. So yeah, I believe Engine is extremely undervalued. I believe I can do like 12 to 15x in terms of where it is. In terms of like top, more like kind of like at the top, I'm really liking Polkadot. Polkadot makes sense to me. It's all about cross-blockchain interoperability. I'm not a fan of most of the Ethereum layer 1 competitors. Not because I don't believe something can't be better than Ethereum, is because there's too much competition and I just don't know. Like, is it Avax? Is it BNB? Is it Cardano? I don't know. I don't know, right? Like I'm not smart enough to break down every single white paper and then do a technical audit. So I prefer I really like Polkadot because of what it does, and I like the fact that Engine is stood the test of time. If I had to bet on the whole play to earn space, Decentraland versus this, I would pick Engine. They have a partnership with Microsoft as well. So yeah, Engine Coin, Polkadot,
Yep.
and I do believe I do have reasonable bag in XRP. Like the fact that XRP was like up here in 2017, 6 years ago. And then in the previous bull run, it didn't go back there. I think there's so much opportunity for it to squeeze and get to that, that kind of like $7 to $10 in the next bull run if they beat this fucking case. So yeah, it's on a super low right now.
Yeah, I don't even think they need to win the case to be successful at this point. It's a security. Who cares? We buy securities all day, every day. Everyone trades securities. So it's a security. It still has value. The network still has some value. I hate XRP, but
I would say
people money.
I would say my top three is Bitcoin, XRP, and Chainlink, because between all of those layer ones that you talked about, like the competition between all of those layer ones, Chainlink is the one chain that's in between everybody, like getting it in. Like, hey, my technology does this, that. You know what I'm saying? They're like in everything. So it's like, whoever wins, Chainlink will be a beneficiary of it as well, because they have like top tier technology in their in the Oracle space. So I love Chainlink and XRP. XRP is they have to do with what's going on with these instant payments and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? Like between countries, cross border payments. You know what I'm saying? And the whole CBDC space. So it's like whatever goes on with CBDCs. I think somebody like XRP is in prime position. Honestly, I just think they're holding. I don't know why they're holding XRP back like this, because they really don't have any like dirt on XRP. If anything, is making the SEC look bad, going through with this SEC case or XRP lawsuit case. But I got Bitcoin is like the code is just locked in, bro. I don't see no other crypto that is locked in, that has locked in code like Bitcoin, like where you could put in another 4 years, like let's say 2024 going on in 28, where you can bet on there being another halving cycle. Like it's consistent. It looks like the so-called dinosaur, but it's the most consistent crypto in the whole space, like and the most reliable.
And I think it's a really
Digital
good
gold.
thing. Yeah, I think a really good point to notice is that NinjaTea didn't want to invest in any Ethereum killers because we just don't know which one it could be. Now, Rahkim said that he likes Chainlink because it's the number one. Okay, you want to be investing in the number one coin in the space. Chainlink is the number one oracle, taking real world data and putting it into the blockchain and moving information from blockchain to blockchain. Everything uses Chainlink. Right now, like NinjaTea said, there are way too many shit coins. We don't know who the winners are. Pick the winners. We know Chainlink is going to be a winner. It's winning now. We know XRP is going to be a winner. We know Bitcoin is going to be a winner. Like, invest in what you know.
Can I tell you what I do though? So this is what I mean by I'm a full-time Web3 operator. I make most of my income through contractor arbitrage. So contractor arbitrage is a very, very fancy word for middleman or intermediary. So I do not buy any Ethereum. I haven't bought Ethereum for like 2 years, and I've never bought Solana. However, I own quite a lot of Ethereum and Solana. And the reason why I own a lot of Ethereum and Solana is because, for example, one of my Ethereum income streams is that I find projects that need smart contract developers, and I have a pool of smart contract developers who I've built extensive relationships with in the past years. And I basically take the client's budget. This is not a secret. I'm very public about this because I'm the plug, right? How else would I make money? I find the client's budget and then I put it with the developer, and then this smart contract will generate ETH maybe through like an NFT project or whatever, and then I get that in my MetaMask, and with that Ethereum, I will invest in other Ethereum projects to try to turn that ETH into more ETH. But I never buy Ethereum with my fiat. In fact, I've extensively said that my actual bear market a strategy is that I'm deploying most of my fiat in alts, including like I bought some Hex recently actually as well. I did really well on that. Like I bought them like December, and then it did like what 3-4x, and I cashed out my initial, and then I cashed out my initial, and then I cashed out Ethereum profits, and then cashed out Bitcoin profits, and I still have Hex, which I think is very, very efficient. And sometimes when you're so much of a fundamentalist, because which I know you are, financial conspirator, I feel like you can miss out the opportunity on gaining more of the fundamental asset that you wanted anyway. By always,
I get what you're saying.
Not,
But for me, I like to sleep at night knowing that I don't have to check the news to see if Luna 2.0 happened.
Yeah.
I just like being able to buy something, and that something is equal
Rest in peace, Meat.
yesterday to what it is today. I mean, the underlying intrinsic the core of Bitcoin, it could go to 5,000, but Bitcoin itself is still alive and fine. If we were to see ADA like shit itself, I'm sure we would see some type of outage. I mean, things like Solana, we're still having extreme outages, but Bitcoin, the underlying value of non-mutable money, I can miss out on a few 100% gains knowing that one Bitcoin will equal one Bitcoin, and I'm just stuck in my ways with that. I will always
We had a whole
I know when I know we are opposites in that way, but I will never ever not be that guy, that Bitcoin maxi guy. Because when I'm talking to someone, I definitely want them to hold Bitcoin forever. Like I'm like Morpheus. You'll never have to sell. You'll never have to sell. Never sell. But no. You guys, taking profits is never a bad idea.
I don't disagree.
I won't say taking profits isn't a bad idea.
I don't disagree, but everybody needs to be taking notes on what my guy NinjaTea just broke down, and working in the arbitrage sector. That's just more Web3 DeFi stuff, man. Like I've been trying to shove this down people's throat. Like that is the future of the workplace. Like these microtransactions hitting your account, that's gonna be how we get paid. It's so beautiful, man, and like you can get paid every day in some cases, right? Like you get this daily residual income. It's a passive income. Even though that's something that I've been like banging hard over the head of my students. Like, bro, doesn't matter. Get into some type of DeFi passive income strategy, even if it's a small coin. You don't have to put your capital up most times, and you can just get the ball rolling. Maybe it starts off as a small amount, but over time, that compounding over time, it grows into significant amounts of money. You know what I mean? And then you can play the game like you say. I don't even actually buy. There was a period of time where I was playing the same way, just taking all of my profits and just turning it either into fiat or turning it into Ethereum. As like I was not buying any new Ethereum with my money. I was just using old money and just cycling it. Well, not fiat, I guess, like old crypto and cycling it.
Yeah. I like the reason why is because the way I like to stack assets is that because I know myself, financial conspiracy, yeah, I know when I want to get to certain asset goals. So, for example, right now in this bear market, I'm trying to get to a certain amount of PayPal stock. Like PayPal stock right now is 4x from all-time high. I see it doing 5, 6, 7x from now. It's because all PayPal is what is the payment processor, is the bridge. So, like Polkadot, like Chainlink, I don't like to be in things that are in competition with something. I like to be in businesses that complement other businesses. And outside of Visa and MasterCard, PayPal makes so much sense. And PayPal is going to continue to process more crypto and more fiat. So that just makes sense to me. So right now, the only thing I'm buying with my fiat currency is PayPal stock and altcoins. PayPal stock, altcoin. And then once I got enough PayPal stock, I'm gonna chill. Once I got enough altcoins, I'm gonna chill, and then I'm gonna reevaluate. But that's because like I'm a business operator, so I don't have a job, and my income is very erratic. So depending on the state of my income and what my cash flow is. Right now, with the current state of my income and cash flow, this is the strategy that I'm deploying. And I always think it's important people find, because I know there's going to be people watching this back who have jobs, you know what I mean? And this is why it iterates people that I don't have a car, my rent's not that expensive, I don't live a lavish lifestyle. I don't have any children, so I can take such risks, which wouldn't make sense for a lot of people.
Yeah, and there is no one way to invest. Like, we can both make money doing completely different things. Like, you guys don't have to follow what we're doing to the T. You can do what fits you best. Do what is
Absolutely.
best for your current situation. Maybe dollar cost averaging isn't the best for you, and you're just going to stack cash and wait for a lower price. That is completely fine. But I will always be a proponent of putting a little bit away every week. Forget about it. Every paycheck, every 2 weeks, whenever, put a little bit away. Forget about it. All right, forget
Wait,
about it.
let me ask you. Do you ever, right? Because I have accepted dollar cost averaging is not for me, and that's usually some people, and a lot of people are not ready to hear that information. You have to be a high level thinker to think, oh, he's going against everything, what everyone else says. But do you ever think, like with dollar cost averaging, let's say you've got your average, be it $100 or $1,000, and you're ready to buy. Do you ever look at the market and it's super high, and you think, no, I'm just gonna wait till it goes down?
Yeah, I've had that happen, and then it goes higher, and then I'm fucking assed out. But if you've been dollar cost averaging since the high of 69,000, you are now in profit. Every week, if you bought the same amount since 69,000, you're in profit now. I mean, it went down from 60 to 15, but then it went from 15 to 30. That's 100%. Hello, McFly. It's a bear market. It's a worldwide recession. Bitcoin just did 100%. Hello, is anyone there? No one's speaking on it.
I don't think there's a wrong way to skin the cat, right? I think there's a couple different ways where you could get in, you could accumulate however you see fit, man. I think the moral of the story, just get in the game. Doesn't matter.
You have to be in it. Yeah.
You have to get in the game, because if you're not in the game, you're gonna be like the first ones.
No, yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
100%.
I'm not gonna finish that sentence, but you're gonna be like the first ones.
The first, dude. You're gonna be lining up at the Walmart.
I just encourage everyone to be a practitioner, man. Like literally, open 10 centralized exchanges. Why not? Why should you have one? Try them all. Try Coinbase. Try Binance. Try KuCoin. Try the ones that you like.
I feel like you have to get into that experimental phase, man. Like when I first got into crypto, I had all of them. I was like, I'm gonna go for all of them.
And then try all the wallets like Exodus, MetaMask, Trust Wallet. Then do the research on which ones you feel comfortable storing your crypto, and then actually get a ledger. And then, do you know what I did recently? I spent like 4 hours in the Cardano ecosystem, not to make money, but just to circulate 100 Cardanos between like 7 different wallets and 7 different exchanges, and buying stupid coins and then converting it back and then buying a Cardano NFT. This, and then listing the Cardano NFT, just any NFT. I forgot who the artist was. It was some cheap ass NFT, like 15 Cardano. But I just wanted to go through the process and be like, oh, okay, this is how this works.
I swear, bro, it's crazy. It's crazy y'all saying that, bro, because like you saying, like I done been heavy in the Cardano ecosystem. I done been heavy, like still now in Cardano, Cosmos ecosystem, heavy in Ethereum, like just getting a feel for like, you know what I'm saying? What do I think? Like, yeah, you just got to get a feel for it. And then it's so many different things to do. You can get into DeFi, you can get into NFTs, you can get into leverage trading, you can get into liquidity
arbitrage.
You can get into arbitrage, you can get into lending, borrowing, and this and that. And you kind of get a feel for like the type of person you are. I definitely have found like I'm more of I like using, liquidity pools and making those micro incomes. You know what I'm saying? Those micro incomes are very underrated.
Hey, man, they add up too, don't they? Like, it was a while that.
Oh snap! Like, you know what I'm saying?
Over time, over a year time, you look up, you see your staking rewards and your node rewards and all that stuff. It's like it's still accumulating. You're not doing anything, but it's still accumulating.
Even Hedera Hashrate ecosystem, I fooled around with that a little bit. You know what I'm saying? Like just getting a feel for different technologies. Like some of these have different base layer technologies and stuff like that. So some are faster than others, and you can really see that. You know what I'm saying? Some are cheaper than others. You can really feel that. You can really see that. Polygon. Just getting a feel for all of the different ecosystems and like seeing what this technology is. That's when you really start understanding the technology. You like, oh, like, you know what I'm saying? A new project may come out. You may recognize that it's BS off rip. You know what I'm saying? Just because, you've already fooled around with this or that. So, yeah, just getting your feet wet, man. That's a fact.
DeFi makes so much sense when you put up with bullshit centralized exchange shit. Like, there was one time I sent Polkadot from my centralized Binance to my Coinbase, and shit took 36 hours. I don't know why. Do you know when you just go through
It's
bullshit?
Coinbase. I
Like,
tell you, it's Coinbase. Coinbase
Right,
transactions are just stupid slow, man.
Terrible.
Oh, yeah,
Oh
now
my
BlackRock
God.
knows your address. Now BlackRock
Man,
knows your wallet.
Coinbase stole some crypto from my brother, bro. Like he been trying to get it back for so long. I'm like, bro,
I got hit up by crypto.com.
what?
Hey, you gotta take some L's before you really know how to navigate. Like I said, you gotta get in the
That's a
game. You gotta move around. You gotta play with
you
these
you
ecosystems.
gotta lose some money.
You're gonna lose
You
some money.
have to
Yeah.
lose, bro. You're
Yeah,
gonna
They
bro.
got
lose.
some of my crypto.
I'm telling you, bro. It's not.
Please
It
got some of my
happens, man.
crypto.
It happens.
Oh,
But
no.
Yeah.
learned valuable lessons from all of those things and came out on the better end of it. But I just urge people, man, get in the game because you're if you're not, you're like in the future, you're gonna be real upset.
and confused.
That is a mild way to put it.
And poor.
That too. Very. You will own nothing,
More
and
I'm
you will be
confused.
so happy.
It. Do you know what? It's not you will own nothing. Okay, you will own nothing, be happy, and be uninformed. See, it's almost okay to have no money but be informed, because then you can do something about it and then you can go get you some money. But when you don't have anything and you're uninformed, you're really stuck.
You're really poor.
Man, what's the
You're really
saying?
poor.
What's the saying? The old slaves were killed for reading. The new
They say
slaves
knowledge
won't
is
read
wealth.
to
Yeah.
save their lives.
Yeah.
We've got Harvard University putting out classes on YouTube. Harvard University is putting out classes on YouTube. Coding, blockchain. Gary Gensler taught an entire cryptography class. Harvard University. It is on YouTube for free. So there is no excuse. Oh yeah, MIT, exactly. You can't say that you don't have the money to pay for the education. It's in your hand, and it's in your hand all day. So
See,
the
like
opportunity
what
is there.
he was talking about with the
White
smart
papers are
contract. Like,
free.
he's the middleman of like smart contract developers, basically. What he was talking about, I'm like, bro, I've been trying to learn like programming, blockchain development, smart contracts, all this type of stuff, because I see where that is going. Like, people are getting paid hundreds of thousands of dollars to hack platforms on purpose, and then figure out the fix for the hack.
Development, yeah, whether you're the developer and or tester and or cybersecurity person in blockchain, or if you're the non-technical person and then you want to do the sales, if you're in this realm, that's one of the best investments that anybody can make in themselves. Like how to, like the higher level conversation that I started bringing to my community at the end of the bull market in 2021 is, how can you involve yourself in crypto? I know somebody who had started off with nothing, and then they were literally a Discord manager in some Solana NFT project, and now they're hella up. Like they didn't even create a fucking crypto account. They just stayed on that Discord, was on the Discord every day as a Discord manager, saying hello to everybody, got rewarded in Solana, got rewarded in Solana NFTs, flipped those Solana NFTs, and now they got more money than me. I'm in the game for like 8 years. So that's the gold mine, right? And I'm not even sour about it. I'm happy with the position that I'm in. But yeah, the biggest opportunity on the blockchain is like, the biggest opportunity number one is education and understanding, right? Because you can't do anything without education and understanding. The next biggest opportunity is how you can operate, and the third biggest opportunity is actually investment. Most people think the investment opportunity is the biggest thing. The reason why I argue that investment is a third opportunity and not the first and second is because you can invest without knowledge, but then you don't invest with confidence, because then you deploy your capital and you see the theoretical price go down and then you start getting scared. So that's why one is always education, and two, you can make way more money in this game operating in the game than investing in the game. I'm not saying you shouldn't invest in the game, you should invest in the game, but if you invest time and energy and expertise, like I have way more intellectual property than currency. I have way more ideas and my network is worth more than my portfolio. If I had to choose, in fact, my biggest asset is not Bitcoin, it's my private equity in blockchain sensei, because that's a business. So if I lost all my crypto tomorrow, I'm still getting residuals and I'm still going to get new business. My team's like 15 people, and we're still going to continue to develop. So it's a difficult one, but one thing that I always, especially when you've been investing for a while, anyone who's listening who's been investing in a while and doesn't operate, you need to go on this side. You need to go on like, how do I dev? How do I get smart contract devs? How do I connect with VCs? How do I help people with funding? How do I connect people with Discord managers? Can I train people to be Discord managers? And, you know, consultancy, metaverse, releasing your own NFT project. That's really where the biggest game is. And if you can learn to play this game, that's the game that I play.
Yeah, in the gold rush,
Okay.
who made the most money? People mining gold or the people selling picks and shovels? So who do you think is going to make the most money? The cryptocurrencies or the people working and operating, fixing, developing, upgrading, teaching the blockchain itself? Those are the people who are going to make the most money. And you have to have a very, very long-term view. I think this has been fucking
Block
great.
selling Bitcoin mining equipment.
Man, I can't wait to do this again.
I for the record, I've never mined Bitcoin.
Me neither.
Ever.
Not yet, at least.
I've never minded, but I've participated in some things, some liquidity pools and other things where I've got some passive income from. But I've never had a mine. It's too expensive. But as I evolve, man, I do think having like as my mental capacity evolves and like understanding where the world is going, I think in the future that is something that nothing crazy, a small mining operation, maybe like a small shed or something with some, solar powered, solar energy stuff, something like that. But it is something that I definitely want to get into. I wish I'd have got into years ago, but
Yeah.
it is something that I definitely want. I've never actually done it yet. It's one of the few things I haven't done in DeFi. But I definitely want to. I think even with the half coming up, like you said, the price tag could be infinity, man. So like, what's
Dude, I like the good thing about this game is that it never ends, right? I've been
yeah.
trading for 8 years and I have never set a futures trade or an options trade in my life.
Yeah.
Like it's literally spot, leverage, shorts, DeFi, degen, swing, scalp.
If you're
But I've
bored,
never,
if you're
I've
bored,
never
you're
done
not
option
learning enough.
in the future. Say again?
Yeah, there's no reason. There should be no reason. Like I said, you can go down any of these rabbit holes in crypto. I mean, I remember I did a whole like a 1 hour lecture going over just how to get crypto jobs. And the crypto jobs, man, I was telling
Yes.
people, the crypto
That's
jobs
the
are paying
conversation we
2
need
to
to be
3
having with
times.
people.
They're paying 2 to 3 times more
Work
than
from home?
well, yeah, a lot of them are remote, but they're paying 2 to 3 times more than with these same job in a traditional role. A Web3 company is paying 2 to 3 times more just because the people just don't know how to do it. They're not getting the exposure. So you can get a gig and make really good money, probably doing something similar to what you're already doing, just in the crypto Web3 world. You know what I mean?
Yes,
I think I got that shit up somewhere. It might be in the Discord, but I did a whole lecture just going how to go about getting crypto jobs. We could do a class on that next week. How to go get crypto jobs,
Hey,
Web3 jobs,
I'm
stuff like that.
willing to do this again. Oh wait, next Sunday I'm going to be traveling. But yeah, I'm definitely willing to do this regularly for sure. I feel like we're a good group of guys.
Yeah, we might have found
Yeah.
the fourth musketeer.
What do you guys stream every Sunday? Is this a thing?
Oh, we usually do it whenever there's enough news that we care about, because some weeks there's just not enough information out there. It's just fluff, and I don't want to talk about.
Nah,
nothing.
I disagree,
actually
man. I disagree, man. Quick
Well, you're
plug,
bringing
blockchain
another
sensei.
element to it. Like you're bringing,
Yeah, I know. Yeah,
you're bringing
you're
an
bringing the
element across
London.
the
You're bringing the
yeah.
London-esque. So maybe we have more content.
No, you know what it is like. Okay.
Yeah, you got a different perspective. We got MJ out in Mexico. You out in London, like, you know what I'm saying? Different
Yeah,
perspectives.
come on, bro. Well, look, like we've been streaming every Monday, 8 p.m. to 9:30 UK time, which is how many hours ahead are we? 5 hours. So that's 3 p.m. to 4:30 p.m. you guys time every Monday since July 2020, and all our replays are on YouTube. We've never missed a Monday. That's me and my two co-founders. I'll get them on the show as well, and they're called Michael and Keish, two Jamaican British guys. And then Fridays we do NFT Fridays. Financial Conspirator, you've been in our webinars, right? Or never? Am I making this up?
Yes, I have.
Okay, sick, yeah. Like, if I can say one of the building blocks of Blockchain Sensei, because when I started Blockchain Sensei, I was not a full-time Web3 operator. Blockchain Sensei made me a full-time Web3 operator. I was a crypto enthusiast with a job when I started Blockchain Sensei, and now I don't have a job, right? So one of the reasons why the weekly webinar is so important is because it really builds that live community, and then even if people miss it, they know they can rewatch it, and then it becomes a place of influence that the opportunities that spill after that is crazy. Like my deal flow and inquiry flow right now, I can't deal with it, which is a good thing, because then only the serious people come on top, right? Like when you're scarce with your deal flow and your inflow, your inquiry flow, you may not be able to snipe good opportunities, but I've been able to build great things and be part of really cool things in the crypto space. Not solely, but largely because of consistency of streaming. Even if it doesn't get a lot of views, like 50 views, 60 views. Yeah. Maybe we should talk about it. Maybe you should decide like one day a week or one day every 2
1 day
weeks.
a week, man.
Yeah.
Hey man, that's up with these two boys on the bottom. We got to get these brothers here. But I
What,
can
on a
do it
Monday?
Sunday.
On the Mondays?
Or whenever. We can talk about it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like Wednesday, Saturday, whatever.
NinjaTea, where can the people find you on the internet if they don't know
Oh,
who you
I'm
are?
super accessible. NinjaTea.Eth, Instagram, Blockchain Sensei on IG, blockchain.sensei. Watch out for all the fake NinjaTea accounts and fake Blockchain Sensei accounts. They've been stealing thousands from people, which is unfortunate. But it's hard to do something about it because they create the accounts every day. Just please be very vigilant. Catch me on Twitter, and most importantly, we need to get a Financial Conspirator and Rahkim X and EdgeOutTrading.Eth to our webinars. I'm happy to get you guys on a Monday or a Friday. Yeah, catch us on YouTube and catch us all doing great things, man. I need to come to America. I've never been.
Hey man, you ain't missing nothing in America.
No,
Come on,
Do
next
not
week.
you not. I need
Do
to
not
come
come.
to where you at. Man.
Honestly, the crypto scene in London is good. It's good.
Rahkim, where can the people find you?
You can find me on Instagram at RahkimX and on TikTok at Rah.Kim for the most part. And yeah.
And the brother with the plan, the master plan, EdgeOutTrading.Eth.
I'm EdgeOutTrading.Eth across all platforms. I'm aspiring to be like my guy Blockchain Sensei up here, man, and kind of be a Web3 operator. I just got too much stuff on my plate. But that is like when I set out and built EdgeOutTrading.Eth, that was the goal, was to educate people on all of the dynamics of Web3 and really the future of commerce, man. Like I truly believe it's the future of commerce. So I also have some videos that go over some of the stuff we were talking about here, EdgeOutTrading.Eth on Twitter, IG, everything. It was a pleasure, man. This was a really good show. I appreciate the invite, and I'm looking forward to chopping it up with you guys in the future for sure.
100%. Thank you guys for being a part of this conversation. Please leave a like, subscribe to the channel, make a comment on what we should talk about next time. It's the Financial Conspirator. We're out.
Peace.